Okay, we got people coming in. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. A lot of community faithfuls here and some names I don't recognize. Anybody new to Chief Chats here? Jedi. Hey, Jedi, how's the guitar playing going? You gig, by the way? I would like to. That's like on my bucket list is to learn to finish learning how to play guitar. So that's on my list. I have some that are nice wall hangers. Well, welcome everybody to another Chief Chat, and this is actually going to be the inaugural start of regular Chief Chats again. We've had a long break. We started them up again, but they weren't consistent. As you know, these are normally every 2 weeks on Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or PDT when the time zone shifts. And we are going to start those up again. Even if we're not presenting anything, I'm going to be here to take Q&A, answer questions. I want to be a touch base for the community so that you guys always know that I'm going to be here answering questions and be around. I've been okay. We had a little bit of COVID in the family recently, but I would say that the first thing I probably need to talk about is, just where I've been. During the summer, we had a ramp up, but I've had a lot of unfortunate personal issues come up this year regarding my kids' health, my kids' schooling, and some other issues that I don't want to talk about here. And that's not good enough. You guys need a game. And luckily, that is in a place where I can see it turning the corner and we're out of the woods and everyone's healthy. And, but it's been an extreme challenge. But I'm back now. And I think that's what I want to convey to you guys is to let you know what's been going on a little bit and to let you know that, things have changed and I'm in a much better place this month than I was even November of last year. So, looking at that, that got me thinking. And one of the things that has been bugging me is that we've been sort of developing a lot of tech on a lot of different fronts. You guys have seen the million, Swarmer demo. You guys have seen the Tsihu NPC. We've seen us port to Unreal 5.3. You've seen us take advantage of the new Lyra animation system and develop our own system on top of that. But none of this has come together in sort of anything that you could sit down and play, or, you know, maybe more personally, that I would feel happy playing with my kids, right? Like I'd love to have them jump into the build with me and play and get a good experience. And you can normally identify a good gameplay loop in just the first hour or two of play. And I think that's the really important thing is that we need to bring that together. It's been far too long, and believe me, just as frustrated as you guys have been, perhaps more so because my hands and time have been tied for almost a year. Just a couple months here and there, I've been able to dive in full time. So this has been a continuous source of frustration that needs to change. It needs to change. It needs to change now. And that is the whole shift to, hey, let's pull all our tech together. Let's put it into into a gameplay build that's gameplay focused with gameplay features. And let's go from there. And let's build upon that. So we're not doing these side projects all the time. We're actually incrementally improving the build. We're adding features along the way. And this is very important to me. As you know, redeeming Firefall is very important to me I believe in this type of game. I believe in the high mobility, power frame shooter with resource gathering. I believe in, the vision we set out for hunting kaiju. And I am very eager to finally get something that I can get. And I know this sounds personal. Get something that I can put in my kids' hands and they're excited to share with their friends. Right? That's the goal. If I can do that, I know you guys will be happy. Don't worry, I'm not going to go George Lucas. This isn't going to be Ewoks suddenly in Star Wars. If you remember that, I don't know if you remember that. George Lucas got soft when he had kids and he introduced the Ewoks. But I think that was just a merch ploy. I don't think that was his kid thing. But for me, it's personal. So I want you to know that. I want you to know how personal it is for me, how important it is for me on this project. During this time, during this time that we are, we need some time to put everything together because it's in, like, as you know, it's in pieces. We have tech demos everywhere and they need to be all gathered together. During this time, I came to a conclusion. I wasn't comfortable offering backer packs. All right. These are high ticket items. They have a lot of promised perks in them. And it bugs me that they're up there. And I really felt like it was important to take those down and put it aside and focus on the game, focus on our monthly patrons. We still depend on that for servers and everything else. Pay more attention to our deliverables there, and which is a lower denomination thing, right? It's like 7.95. So, it's a far cry from that. So that is why I issued the order to suspend the packs, and the packs aren't coming back. We will have some sort of future pledge or funding system. I want it to be more streamlined. I want it to be a little more straightforward. And this is basically it for the packs. So we will not offer them for sale again. These M3 packs and these newcomer packs, obviously M3 you can't get. But I'll talk about that a little bit later because there's a way you can get an M3 pack, which you can upgrade. Basically, Maven still has them on offer, and if you direct message him, he still has, I believe, 98 packs left. Maybe they're around, and now is the time to grab them because you can upgrade them to other stuff, and they come with a bunch of unique perks. But that's I wanted to thank Maven for that. Maven's been extremely generous putting that out there, and if you guys want to contact him, I'm sure the mods can post where to DM him here and to do that sort of stuff. Oh, Maven's here. Great. Yeah, Maven, I don't have a good system for this, but thank you for taking all those DMs. Maven's been an extremely passionate supporter and critic of Ember for a long time, and I've had arguments with Maven and I've had agreements with Maven, but he's always been here and he's always been very supportive in his way, and for that I greatly appreciate it. So thank you, Maven. So so people were asking the number one question we are getting about the packs is will I be able to upgrade later? And right now I have to say no because as people upgrade into higher packs, the top packs have some unique perks associated with them that require dev time per user, right? There's custom NPCs, there's custom skins, and all that takes time. And if I just let upgrades be perpetual, that dev load increases. So right now, I'm not interested in increasing our dev load. I'm interested in focusing our dev load on the gameplay loop and getting that up and running. So, but I have heard that, and I've had people say, "Hey, can we have a day, a weekend, or something right before Kickstarter where packs can be upgraded?" That is possible, but as of now, I can't promise that. Right? So I haven't done the analysis. I haven't looked at the packs out there yet. I just would like to be done with that phase of it. And next year, after we have the gameplay build going, we'll move into another pledge phase. I don't know what that is yet. I have no idea what it's going to be, but there until between then and between now and then there are no packs. So that ends Sunday. I try to give people enough time. I know people have like paydays on Friday and things like that, so I try to accommodate that. But no more. The nice thing, I don't like sending out sales emails. I really did not like that. I'd rather send out updates. So while there's no packs for sale, there's not going to be any emails about a sale or anything like this or selling packs. I think that we need to just focus on the game. Now, I do have to mention very briefly that unfortunately I have a stalker. I have a former community member who is actively stalking both myself and the project and wishes to basically kill the project. That's their goal. They want to. This person wants to kill the project and kill the community. It's a very much sort of like if I can't have it, nobody can sort of attitude. So that's out there, and that's something that hasn't stopped for a year. Okay, so just be aware of that. Be like I said, be careful who you respond to. There are people trying to get a reaction out there, people trying to split the community, and I've got a person out there that's talking about guns and my house, and I'm not comfortable, right? So that's been going on, and it hasn't stopped. And and it probably will continue, especially as we make more progress. For whatever reason, whenever we have positive news in the community, whenever we make progress, that's when this entity comes in and really starts to get active. So we just got to be careful about that. And this person has been banned from every single Kickstarter project and commercial game, almost every commercial game that they've played. It's definitely scary, and it's something that I really have to be careful about. I keep an eye on it. It's not super serious, but it does come up over. That person's probably in here right now, actually. Very well known for creating alt accounts. So that's a little scary, but let's put that aside. I just wanted to let you guys know everything that's going on. So, where are we in terms of the build? We have stuff ported to 5.3. We have a ton of art assets. The art assets need to be assembled. They need, textures. I don't want to do white boxes anymore, so at the very least you'll get temporary textures on things, models and things like this. And we thank you. I told Miss, I said I'm a huge fan of The Expanse. If you want to call me Boss Mang, I'm all for it. Because Miss was calling me boss. And and yeah, huge Expanse fan. Expanse was actually a Traveler campaign. Little trivia for you, based on the tabletop RPG. Yeah, thanks, Ronan. And I'm a huge Traveler fan. You know that the initial version of the Gate Striders tabletop RPG is a Traveler like game. So you're going to see more of that too. Um, you're going to see more of the tabletop in the monthly patron things. I don't know how many tabletop fans we have, but you're going to see more of that. Okay, so let's go on to stuff that is happening right now. You guys have recently voted on the style of frame that you guys would like to see. And we posted a more like firefall type frame, and we posted more of the original Ember style design, and a lot of people were confused by the extra arms on the frame. And I kept trying to tell people, it's like, hey, those arms are actually an optional melee weapon, and the frame doesn't normally have them. But that message was getting lost. I think people just see the image and that's all they have to go on, and so they sort of glom onto that, and of course that would happen. So we did another concept, and thankfully, Heinz Snow turned it around really fast. He's been doing all of our blockouts, our low poly blockouts for the drop ship, uh, the frames, the mechs, all that sort of stuff. We even prototyped a modular mech armor system, so we're sure that the different variations can share the same underlying inner frame. And so we came up with a blend of the Firefall wings, basically, that we had on the more Firefall style model, and the no melee arm things. And of course, this is it. So this is what you guys picked, and this is what we're going for. And this is, of course, the female. Now, we did do a male model, but the male model doesn't look good in those boots. So I'm going back to the original concept artist on that and saying, hey, people are liking this, but can we have a male version that's not that fabulous? Yes, Ronan, not quite that fabulous. I mean, I know some people will want that. People are already asking me, hey, can So I you guys really responded to this design and really liked it. And some people were and then I still got some comments that were like, but I really like the one with the fists too. Well, you can still have the fists. The fists are an optional melee weapon that attach to the arms of the frame. So if you like that big fisted look, you can still have that with the power fists. The other options are the light melee frames are specialized in melee combat, so they're supposed to have swords. They're supposed to have energy, um, maybe an energy whip. Who knows? But we'd like to explore melee weapons as a speciality of the light frames. Now, the other frames do have melee weapons, but they don't do wield them. Right? That was the big difference. Where the navel's at. Yep. The other thing that I was really surprised by, you guys surprised me by, is that you guys still like the waifu stuff. There was a time where it was very anti-waifu in here, and we started moving our skins away from, excessive waifu. Is that a term? And we started focusing more on more practical G suits and pilot suits and things like this. But I was surprised. So you can see us, come back to excessive waifu here and there. We'll come back to that, and I'm excited about that. CSR is working on a special image for us in February. That's not going to be a skin. It's going to be something for the website. Something that is going to basically on the website. Right now you've got the big images of CSR's art on the front. That's not going to be the focus on the new website. The new website will focus on the frames and the mechs and the sci-fi aspect of it. But there's going to be one section that's like the waifu section, right? And I think that's where we're going to feature this great piece that CSR and I have been talking about, and I hope will turn into a great wallpaper for everybody too. And I'm excited about that. Um, 5.3, Unreal 5.3 is phenomenal. I feel like I don't know what happened to Unreal, but all this advanced tech just got dumped in. Nanite's fast now. Remember when we were having issues with nanite frame rate issues? The overall renderer is faster than the old renderer. The terrain system is now nanite enabled. It doesn't mean for detail, but for speed of rendering and LODs, it's much faster. It has incredible content tools. You can animate fully inside of Unreal 5.3 now. And I feel like it's just the perfect timing. It's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff that we needed, including large world support, like really big maps. That's partially in there now and is slated to be complete. And I'm like, oh wow, it feels like the right time for Ember. It feels like this is the right time with the tools there. We don't have to write our own. You know how we did our own ocean before. We don't have to do that anymore. All this stuff is like built in now. So that's fantastic. More audio tools too. So and more video tools. And that's going to be important for Ember marketing going forward. I want to move us more towards screenshot updates, graphic updates, things like this. And when we get the gameplay build, we're going to be taking a ton of screenshots and captures, excuse me, captures from that and putting that out there. And I think that type of marketing works really well for video games, right? I think when I look at certain Twitter accounts that have a huge number of followers and they don't even have a game yet, and they're just posting, sample levels, abilities, some animations and stuff like that, and it's doing very well for generating interest in the game. So I think that's where those updates lie, not in long form blogs or anything like that. Media is consumed very rapidly now, and so that's what I'm interested in. Servo asks, will I be able to stream the gameplay build? Yes, absolutely. We have a stream all you want, screenshot all you want policy. So when this stuff starts to come together, you can even do the existing stuff, like the stuff that's not white box. I would ask you to hold off on the white boxing. And if you go to our last build with full graphics, I think that still holds up for movement and animation and abilities. I think that that's still fun for that. But you can expect a fidelity update. I've been looking at the hardware stats of you guys. We did a survey a while ago. Seems like you are all on a minimum of 2000 series, and a surprising number of you are on 3000 series NVIDIA cards. I don't talk about the AMD stuff, not because I don't like it. They're our partner, but because it's easier for people to picture performance targets when I phrase it in terms of NVIDIA. So that's why I say, hey, you guys are on 3000 cards, you guys are on 2000 cards. It was pretty much as I predicted. I said that, hey, I think a lot of people on the 1080s and 1070s are just going to skip 2000 and go right to 3000. And that seems to have happened. And the Steam stats seem to bear that out too. There's a huge number of people that went to 3000. And so this makes everything possible, right, for Unreal 5.3. It's just such a better platform. The 2000 and much more so the 3000 cards are the sweet spot for Unreal. Oh, Katsuragi, you're still on 1080i. We're going to run on a 1080i. We are going to run on a 1080i. But I think that our sweet spot now is going to be the high 2000s, the low 3000 series cards. Yeah, VRAM is important. We Games just chew up a lot of it, and because of consoles having a ton of VRAM, because they have a unified memory structure, most modern games built for console suck up a lot of VRAM, and when they get ported to a PC, that can be a problem for 4 GB cards and things like that. So you really want at least 8 and probably higher than that to take full advantage of Unreal 5.3. That said, you know that we're always concerned about scalability. We're always wanting to make sure we can run on lower end systems, which is why we did things like explore advanced technology with the Million Swarmer demo and things like this. So at this point, this Chief Chat, I don't have any sort of major update for you, except this is an informational session, except to tell you that we're going to start having them regularly again. And we are going to be working on the gameplay build, and I'm also going to basically take Q&A. So this would be a good time if you guys have questions. This is sort of our warm-up Chief Chat as we start getting back into them. And this is your chance to ask questions. I'll try to keep up here. If I miss you, if it scrolls by too fast, then maybe the mods can remind me and repost. But I'll open the floor up here. So let me know what's on your mind. Start with maybe how you guys liking the new light frame design, which is really our original light frame design with just a few tweaks. Part-time Jedi asks, will monthly subscriptions stay the same? Yep, they're the same for now. We might offer expanded tiers, like Patreon has like 2 or 3 levels, but until we're delivering on the base level, I don't see us expanding these subscription tiers, but they will remain the same. I love the art style of Mars. Can we get a player skin of that armor? Yeah, Mars is an OPAI, so you like that kind of Norse tech. I could see us doing a little Norse tech if you like that. I thought he came out really cool. Zybernaut's asking is the lore coming along? I want to know about the overall universe. That is happening this month. This month is NaNoWriMo, and NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month is always what lights a fire under me to do more on the novel. So hopefully, I'll be able to show you the fruits of that pretty soon. Regular chapter updates will be coming back to monthly patrons. All right, I'm going to scroll up here, so I'll try to keep up with the questions. How much better is Unreal 5.3 from 5.2? A lot of devs I talk to, they're experiencing a 10 to 15% frame rate increase in just whatever they're doing without any changes. We don't have anything that really pushes it right now. We've got Whitebox in 5.3, so I can't really tell myself. But nanite rendering, even in 5.0, was much faster. So that was really good. And the nanite editing tools have gotten good. I don't know if you remember early streams I did where I tried to like bend nanite meshes and use the tools, and it would just eat up all the RAM, and you guys got me some more RAM and things were better, but still kind of crashy. Well, that's fixed now, and nanite modifying nanite meshes in Unreal is real time. It's quite fast. Let's see. Shield Bearer Studios HS003 licensed to game has said that Bloodline's been releasing TikTok clips of whatever cool stuff. Okay, I will check that out. TikTok is a foreign medium to me, but I think it's much better than YouTube Shorts. So definitely short form video is seems to be the way to go instead of like long YouTube videos or anything like that for updates. Quadrana says, love the new light frame design. Curious if there's another way to have sleeker glider wings or jetpack. I I think the jetpack might be a little too big right now, so I'm thinking about how to address that. But we'll probably go with that look for now. Obviously, it's easy to change glider wings, and we have perks out there that have celestial wings and things like this. So yeah, you'll be able to change out your glider wings and probably your jetpack option too. My goal is to make the building of your frame very modular, very customizable. Armored Core does a good job of that. That's always something that I wanted for Embers, the ability to swap out parts on your frames. Mako asks, will packs come back in the future? These packs will not. So the ones that we have will not come back. We will come out with a new pledge system. Will it be packs or will it be milestone based or some other hybrid? I don't know yet. So something will come back, right? There will be some further sort of form of like deep funding for the game that comes back because we need it, right? We're an indie game. And if we're going to advance to the next phase, we're going to need that sort of funding. So there will be something, but these packs will not be there. If you're an Arc Leech, you don't have to worry about any packs until after Kickstarter because up to Kickstarter, I should say. You're grandfathered in. So if we come out with a new pack or pledge system and there's perks in there that aren't already in the other perks, then you will get those as an Arc Leech up until Kickstarter. And then Kickstarter is sort of like a reset, does its own thing. Let's see. Jedi likes. Oh yeah, she's good. One of our first OP AIs. How many waifus will I be able to marry? You're going to see the OPAI in the UI, right? That's one of the things we talked about. Is your OPAI manifests in your UI and can manifest in the world, and it's sort of like your AI co-pilot, right? Helps you interface with your frame, helps you interface with your mech. So I would like to develop that further. Obviously, people love romance options in games. I'd love to get to that. Not a priority, but I like that in games. Seam asks, haven't been following the project that closely lately. Is there a good trailer to check out and show my friends? No. That's the sucky part, is that everyone's saying I want something to show my friends. All I have are 6 different tech demos and not enough gameplay. So, unless I'm shooting at cubes. And so that is something that this next gameplay build that we're working on is supposed to fix. And we'll start simply, right? We'll get the characters in, we'll get some locomotion, we'll get some basic terrain, and we're just going to build on that. We'll get the other features in, and then after we have that baseline, then we'll build on that. Miss asks, here's a random one I've seen others ask. When the game goes live, will we have one piloter account or multiple pilots? And splitting off from that, would there be any way to hide certain perks, saying Arcleech doesn't want to be noticed? Well, I haven't made a decision. People wanting to hide their perks. I think the people who buy Arcleech want those perks to be very public. So that's kind of the nature of this type of thing. So that is that is something that is strange to me that they would want to hide it. But if enough people ask, maybe. So like I think you forgot Ashy is always watching. Yes, she's always watching. Yandere OPAI. All right, Sky Comet asks, "Is there store credit? Because I have two editions of the game, one for my friend, but could I melt one and upgrade my main pack to get two copies with the next edition?" Oh, this refers, I think, to Star Citizen systems of being able to melt down ships and use that to recombine them into other upgrades. Um, I don't know how that works exactly. I guess you melt down a ship and then you get the dollar value of that ship. And then this is Star Citizen I'm talking about. And then you can apply that to getting something else. Right now there's no code to support anything like melting packs down. If if that's something people are really interested in, um, I'm not going to commit to that. I think that that's a lot of work of our base web systems right now, and it's not a priority for us right now. So I'm going to say no on melting packs right now. Slayer, Kaiju Slayer, cheesy ass. I'm going to use my Slayer perks to design a kimono OPAI. Do you mean kimono like the Japanese dress or okay, cool. Will I be doing TikTok dances to promote Ember? You're a fail ass. Nope, nope, nope. The most you get from me is the sea shanty perk. Any chance Zabernaut asks, any chance we can get concept art for the modular frame parts? You already do. We did two versions of the heavy mech, one with the standard default manufacturer and the other one with the yellow flash architecture. I call it the yellow flash. And it's the more curvy one. And those parts actually swap. We we designed it and we redid them so that they actually conform to the same inner frame. But there's no demo for that. I think it'd be important to see being able to swap armor parts. I think that's one thing I'd like to see in the game that you can experiment with, even if we have very few parts to start with, like even just like one or two. It gives people an idea of what's possible. Because I think one thing I've realized, if you guys don't see it, it's hard to conceive what's in our head, right? You're not mind readers, and so it's hard for people to visualize that. So even having the barest demo of being able to swap out a head or an arm or things like that, I think would go a long way to people going, oh, you could do that. And they just see a bunch of grayed out boxes for the rest of the stuff. And they're like, oh, and this will be coming later. I think that's powerful. And I'd like to get that into the build at some point. Should I ask, will the Ember game name change in the future? Yeah, you guys know I've been wanting to change the name for a while because everyone calls it Em-8ER or they're not sure how to call it. And honestly, it sounds like an early George Lucas film, right? THX 1138 or whatever his movie was. Yeah, I'd like to change it. I don't know what it'll be yet. I have some ideas. I think maybe when the gameplay demo comes out, that would be a good time to do that. But there'd be an awful lot of rebranding to do right with that. So I've been kind of putting that off. Cyanide Consumer asks, would people that already have the packs be able to upgrade in the future? Right now, no. I'm saying that upgrades and pack sales, they're done on the 12th, and I don't plan to do anything in the future with that. People have been really campaigning hard for like a weekend upgrade right before Kickstarter. I'll consider it, but right now, no. Let's see. Kaiju Slayer Cheesy asks, I know we might still be a long way to go, but what sort of time frame would we be looking for in terms of a 1.0 release? 1.0 would be post Kickstarter. Even though we're building a gameplay focused build right now, it's still a vertical slice demo, right? Except there's less demo code in it now. It's more like, hey, this is the code we're actually going to use for the game. So, in terms of like a 1.0 alpha, we really need a Kickstarter level of funding to get more people on a full-time basis in order to achieve that. Sai asks, nagging mother-in-law Opie when? I don't know about that. That's a highly specific need, Sai. If I had to go with something like that, the idea that sprang to mind was Cooking Mama. Do you remember that game where she teaches you how to cook? That'd be pretty funny. So we each have our own thing. You're with the nagging mother. I want the cooking mama. Zappernaut asked, will there be a single character per account or is there going to be multi characters per account? That was asked before. No decision on that yet. Sorry. I don't have all the details. Uh, Grant, Grenthi says, you'd be surprised how many of my friends I got to check the game out by mentioning waifus. Yeah, waifus have been very good for Ember. They grew the audience tremendously. I think it was a good move. And, we've been sort of downplaying them lately and we're a little more conservative, but they'll come back. They're just not going to be the main focus of the web page anymore. The main focus of the web page will be the mechs, the gameplay, and oh yes, did you happen to know we've got waifus too, and husbandos. Quadrana says, "Hey, I could see the hiding option being useful." Okay, noted. I got 2 votes for that. Don't tell my wife about all the perks I bought from you. That's funny. You want to romance Lucretia Kutsuragi? You can fix her. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see about that. Mako asks, will there be a way to upgrade my Archon packs to an Arc League in the future, or is that now or never? It's pretty much now or never. Okay, but I'm really hesitant to talk about this because it puts an onus. Maybe I can do it if the onus is on you. But one or two people have approached me about doing sort of like a 3-month payment plan, and we don't have anything set up for that. But I went ahead and I said okay to 2 people. I don't think I could do it for more than a handful because none of it's automated unless it was on you. If you are personally keeping track of it, then that's something that I'm potentially open to. But message me. It can't be like a $40 upgrade or anything like that. I just can't do it for that. But if you are serious about upgrading to an Arc Liege and you want to do something like that and you're willing to track it yourself, and all the invoices say payment 1 of 3, or so you can keep track of it that way. It's all officially done through. Requesting VTuber Grums doing TikTok dances. No, that way lies the seventh seal, opening the seventh seal and the gateway to hell on earth. No. Um, let's see. Schematic art with modular parts. I'm not sure what that is. Table art piece with lots of modular parts. Do you mean like a 3D model or like magnets? You remember those things where you can mix and match clothes on your avatar on your fridge with magnets? Are we still using AI art to help design art for the game? Uh, Everything that game wise, I would say that most of it has been either human art, and then recently we experimented with AI art, and then we had humans go over it. And now I'm getting back to human art because I think I've discovered that I don't like the look of AI art. But all our frame designs, all the key stuff, that's all been real artists, real humans, and that's the way I'm leaning. There's just something really weird. I don't know. It's like uncanny valley maybe about AI art that bugs me. And honestly, when we've done AI art and then have an artist go over it, it takes just about as much time and cost. So I'm like, why bother? So yeah, I think you'll see us leaning more into human art. AI in terms of what we could do for dynamic content in the game, that's something I'm still interested in exploring. All right. Let's see. What are the questions? I'm scrolling down here. Is there a fantasy MMO called Embers Adrift that came out last year which could confuse people? Yeah, there's already one Ember game on Steam that's older, and this sounds like a new one. I think that would be confusing too, and that's another reason we might we are probably going to change the name. This is not WoW with guns is the game title. Yes. For those of you who don't know, my creative falling out with the owners of Red 5 were basically they wanted WoW with guns, and I didn't think that that was a good idea, and they tried to do it, and it turned out it was a bad idea. Duolingo OPAI partnership? I don't know what that is, Smoo. Is that like a language learning software? Okay, Jedi, I saw that you had to take off about 5 minutes ago. If I missed you, I'm still scrolling back here trying to catch up with questions. Don't. Shit. Servo says, "Don't worry, I've got plenty of people who will be angry about waifus existing." I'm counting on that. I'm counting on that in the press, mate. Basically, if nothing helps the game more than the press getting angry about it in terms of marketing. Boy, if I don't have a good start screen though, I'm gonna be roasted, huh? But I was right. I was right about that. And yes, Leroy Jenkins, humanity is the core, but there is evolutionary divergence because of the separation of the colonies. Xiaozi asks, "What are the current plans for region bases in the final game?" It hasn't changed. Player built bases, more RTS like than panel by panel. We're not talking about building it up from brick by brick, but sort of like people vote with their resources for what they would like to see built. Someone plops down the initial plot, and people contribute resources to it to get it built, and that kind of controls what gets built first, right? Let's see. Leroy Jenkins says, could call the game Gate Striders to keep it consistent with the TTRPG. Yeah, maybe. HS003 asks, what if you mocap yourself? We are experimenting. Okay, another way that we're using AI is mocap. Mocap has moved towards AI. You can do even single phone captures with stuff. That's something that we're going to be experimenting with in terms of getting motion capture, mainly for gestures and things in game. We have the mocap suit that you guys funded a long time ago, but it's very old tech, and we've used it in a bunch of places. But it's time to explore the new options, and it's cheaper. It's well, you pay for processing time in the cloud, but the initial hardware outlay is a bunch of old iPhones, and we already grabbed those. And I'd like to set those up. Oh, okay. Zarbanot says, I'm sorry you're behind on reading chat. The schematic table art piece was referring to modular frame parts. So you are talking about refrigerator magnets. We should make it magnetic. You stick it on your fridge and swap out armor parts. Merch would be cool. I would like to get to the stage where we're doing beanies and fridge magnets and stuff like that. I think that's another fun avenue to promote the game that apparently can be profitable. I know that American McGee with Alice. I think he's converted from doing the game to just doing merch full time. That's not where we want to go, but that just shows you that merch does work. Maybe we should offer. Maybe we'll start with a T-shirt, something simple. Oh, chat just skipped here. Wait, trying to catch up. All right. Do, 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 do. Everyone's human. Yeah. Mocap. More mocap. Cheesy says, as an artist, I implore you guys to stay off AR artists. Just a bunch of assless chaps, says Mist. Just cheeks clapping with a login. At least that shows you the passion, right? Strategy game called Gate Striders. There is like a board game. Sky comment. Change the Ronan says change the game name to Deep Strikers. That'll be the adult only rated version. uh Dude, you later asks, I know there's going to be trucking, but will there be rails and trains between more developed bases, but at higher startup costs? Um, I love trains, but we're going with trucks. The idea is that it's a mission to do that stuff, and I think a train being on rails, I don't know if that's as fun as a truck that's not on rails. So if I had to choose, and we always have to choose feature wise, I think we'll go with the trucks for now. I always say for now because there's good ideas that you guys put out there, and it doesn't mean that we'll do them, but I reserve the right to jump on them later on if we have time or if it seems like a better idea. Have Sai asks, still an individual accomplishment contribution, and we get our house banner on the base. Have the notions of non PvP competitions changed? That stuff ought to be defined and described, especially for a media pack. All right, let me parse that. Um, oh, yeah, there's a leaderboard for bases, right? And there's certain perks that let you hang your banner on a base, a custom banner on a base. The idea that it's a size right, it's non PvP competition. It's PvE competition for basically credit. It's like who has done the most for this base, promoting that sort of accomplishment. That's what we'd like to see. Oh, I keep getting your name wrong. HS triple O three. I'm sorry. I guess you don't have a license to do anything special then, because that's only the double O series. Beanies, fridge magnets. Yeah, how about we start with a T-shirt again? We can do that on Shopify or something like that, and something where it doesn't involve the dev team. That we just do the design and they fulfill it, and everything else. That would be great. Then we don't have to take any time away to do merch. When we did merch for Firefall, it was such a pain because we did our own fulfillment. Oh boy, that was a mess. We'd have to we'd have like all of the HR department and the admin department packing posters and T-shirts and things like this. That was not a good use of their time. Mech Juju later asked mech models for merch. Very complicated. Um, if people start liking the mech designs that start to come out, maybe we'll find a partner. That'd be cool. But no, not us. We're not going to get involved with designing, articulating, or even non-articulating mechs for merch. So I like trains. Trains fast travel. Yep. I like trains too, but doesn't mean I can do it though. Oh, it's called gate walkers, not gate striders. Okay, well that's good then. That's still an option. Servo asks, do you really think the scope of the never-ending war and OPAI UI is realistic with current tech? Well, I think the OPAI UI is realistic with current tech because we're really not doing anything more than Halo. I'm not talking about hooking up true AI to the OPAI, right? I'm talking about it's like a persistent NPC that is a custom character that you can interact with. I think that's definitely possible. The never-ending war, that's just the state of the game, right? I don't think that's advanced tech. You can always have something that in a game that doesn't end with the sort of ebb and flow of, the Tsihu capturing territory and you gaining it back. I think the real question is that fun or do people need some sort of ending? Otherwise, it's planet side, right? Planet side's endless base capture, and I have some concerns about that, but not from a technological perspective. Zingo asks Grums, can we DM after this? Of course, I'm not available to respond after chief chats because I don't know if you guys know, I'm actually an introvert, and but I can be an extrovert, and the difference is that an extrovert gets energy from talking to people, and an introvert gets energy from sort of like being alone and having quiet time, and it takes a lot of energy for me to do chief chats, and basically I can't do much for the rest of the day because making myself an extrovert, getting in front of you guys is very I don't want to say tiring. It just takes energy, and I get excited. You guys really talking to you guys gets me really excited, but it does sort of like wipe me out for the rest of the day. So please go ahead, DM me. Just don't expect any responses today. I will by the weekend get to everybody who DMs me. Maven, thank you so much. Take care. Thank you so much for the dollar packs. This is the last time you guys could get to upgrade them. So if you wanted into M3, this is the ticket, and I think we have enough to go around. I think that that's going to be work out just fine. And thank you again, Maven, for the support and for the constructive criticism through all this time. Smooth's asking, how about the road system in Death Stranding? People contribute to it, and repair level of roads depends on that. Well, that's pretty similar to what I was thinking about the bases, Smooth. So I don't know. I should check out Death Stranding and see what you mean by the road system. It's not a game I've played. I have it. I booted it up and go like, oh, that's a pretty game, and then I just put it back in the Steam library and didn't touch it again. But I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check out some videos. That's more efficient because I don't think I'm going to play the game. Let's see. Leroy Jenkins says, yeah, if it's just PvE planet side, I'd probably lose interest once I experience most of the gameplay offerings. I would like there to be actual story objectives, both smaller solo things that we can complete through exploration and community objectives for bigger story points. That's really been where I've been thinking. It's like, hey, because you guys know I love JRPGs, right? And Chrono Trigger's like one of my favorite games of all time. And I really think that getting story in there is probably more important than I initially spec'd out. But that's going to require tools and funding. So I've been holding off on promising anything like that. But I'm with you, Leroy. If there's not a story or characters to carry me through the content of the game, I tend to move on, right? I play it, I say, okay, I get the mechanics, and then I'm done. I think if we're going to have longevity, something like a story, characters, things that pull you through content, I think that would be important. So I can't promise that. It's obviously a very time consuming endeavor, but you have me thinking that way. We're thinking the same thing, dude. Miss asks, I personally like the ebb and flow. I remember in Firefall when servers would shut down and when we come back up, the chosen AI would be at 11, and they'd be all over the map. I'm paraphrasing here, and you'd have to fight them off as best you could. Yeah, those were epic moments. I definitely want to recapture those moments. There'll be times where the Tsihu will just do a massive push, and you'll have to fight them back. I think that was super fun in Firefall beta. All right. Oh, I've caught up. I've caught up with the questions, and I am hoarse. So I think I will save my voice at this point and continue to work on the No Zero Day updates. Please DM me if you had a question that I didn't get to. And like I said, I won't respond today, but I will definitely get to it no later than the weekend. And I appreciate all of you guys being here in Chief Chat. I'm looking forward to having these regularly again every 2 weeks. This is a really much better time in my life right now, and I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited to be working on this game. Thank you guys for all of the questions today. And there's some really good questions out there. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you next time in 2 weeks' time. I want to go recharge. Maybe I'll go to the range and pop off some rounds or something. All right, guys.
Hope everybody had a great time here today at Chief Chat. If there's remaining questions, please post them quickly and we'll try to get to them or save them for next time. There will be another Chief Chat in a little while, as you mentioned, 2 weeks. So I hope you join us for that. And if you have questions, you can save them for that day. That works. But before we close everything off here, does anybody have any weird questions for me? What's for lunch today? I'm looking at sushi, kind of a well sashimi technically. That's where I'm headed today. Yeah, I'm using a my main microphone broke, so I'm using a crappy one. Calendar. Deep strike your calendar. I mean, if the game. Okay, when the game comes out, maybe we can get a bunch of images of different people using deep strike ability. We do something like that. Shelly, you have fried chicken. I do like fried chicken. Thundercat, Thundercat style skin. As long as I get to help design it myself, so it's not too weird looking. I don't like the ones that look kind of like underwear with a belly window. That one weirds me out. Like, what is that? What's up, Zingo? I saw you back a little bit ago.
Wait, so you mean no more underoos?
No, no more underoos. Shelly brand fried. You got your own brand of fried chicken. Awesome. Soul food for Grums. I don't know. I don't know where he would get. I don't know if he'd be into that. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him about that. National Fried Chicken Sandwich Day today. I hadn't seen that on my calendar. That's new to me. Mechs like Macross. I don't know what specifically you mean since Macross has so many mechs. Faye gets lots of digital snugs. Will there be holiday events in game? At some point, there'll be something, probably. I can't say for sure, but probably some form of that. What's this? Are we taking a break to give Faye some love? Let's give Faye some love. It's always a good time. New Armored Core, yeah. Grums has played it. I've played it. A lot of people I know have played it. Okay, you're talking about transformation. So we don't have any plans for transforming mechs, but the mechs they still have the plan to kind of sink down into a kind of a skim mode for moving fast along the ground. And of course, in the sky, you can enter a gliding state, but not really a gliding form. This decision was made to keep the customization of the frames relatively simplistic, as transformation will complicate that quite a bit. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's more complex. Thank you. Grums and I haven't got to sit around and ramble on about AC yet. We've been busy, both of us. This is something we used to do, but we haven't had much time for it later to sit around and talk about games, what we thought of them. That's something I'll bring up with him next time we talk. Lightyear Frontier? That does not ring a bell. Let me check that out right now because I am curious. That's interesting looking. Cybernet, I will play a male PC player character. I'm gonna make something. I might make it try to look like myself. I usually do, like a more handsome version of myself. You know what I mean? That's right. Hey, look at it this way. That means you get to shoot me, right? I'm just kidding. There's no PvP. Thanks, Mist. Well, I appreciate that. I hope so. The missus thinks so, but Salty, I will not chase you. We will run together. Now that y'all have asked me questions, I would like to ask, so how many people didn't realize that the light frames, the big 50s, were actually weapons, not some kind of general attachment? Because I saw when there was a question of like, which one do you like better? And some people were like, I don't like the fists. And I'm thinking, so pick a different weapon. But like Grum said, it wasn't clear to everybody. So this is something we'll have to make sure. The mega huge punchy fist from the concept art still a thing. Yes, yes, they are. They're still a choice in weapon. Make comically large shooting weapons for the fist. That was an old discussion that Grums laughed at. I was suggesting that. Wouldn't it be hilarious? He's like, shut up. So, yeah, you don't use them to hold bigger guns. I don't know about the gorilla stance. That's an interesting thought. Shootable fist. I mean, that'd be a cool special attack, right? Wouldn't it? If you could like punch, do the shooty fist thing. Feel the same way there. Can't wait either. Jet Lance. Ooh, I'd like that. HS, we don't want that kind of copyright problem. But if you just mean conceptually, then sure. Yeah. Missed is suggesting fistception. Are you trying to say shotgun fist? Like, what's happening? Okay, so we're gonna have to get some kind of literature out or some kind of imagery, make it clear that those are weapons, not stuck. Pilot boxing mini game. I mean, who knows what kind of stuff will end up in the home section, Shelly, I have a pet peeve with how many video games make the shotgun excessively short ranged. It's basically a sword. Fishing deep strike minigame. You know, I would prefer to just jump in and punch a fish rather than sit there and try to be patient. So I'm with you. Shotgun sword. What is that? Fists are weapons, not food. Well, then, Mist, why do you keep giving people so many knuckle sandwiches? Sniper X. I don't even know what. That's not want not. Gunblades are cool. Shotgun sword is a weapon in Borderlands 2. Is it a shotgun that shoots swords, or is it just like sword shaped? Like what exactly? Okay, that's what you mean by Sniper X. Okay. For a second, I'm thinking of like an axe that snipes people, but I guess that kind of is. So, yeah, something with floating weapons, like little drones kind of thing. You know, we haven't that hasn't come up as a subject of discussion whether or not they'll be outfire. So I don't want to speak to it just in case there's been a change in the design. Nothing's been mentioned, but let's bring that up at the next chief chat to make sure we get the right info. Drones, weapons suspended in plasma, something wild and out there. I can dig it. Dude, you later. You still have the same problem with the sight on that weapon, though. The axe head blocks the sight, and yeah, I hear you. uh, on occasion, things will shift more towards the fun than the functional, and some things will shift more the other way. So no, Shelly, you don't get to shoot me in game. That was me poking fun at someone. There'll be no shooting of Ronin. Although maybe we can make a Ronin enemy model so you can shoot at me. You guys can have a good time blowing me up. Do you guys remember back when we were testing the shooting? So we had PvP enabled, and every time Grums would enter the server, everybody would just blow him up so fast. I was like, what is happening? A spider-like rotating weapon suspended behind a frame. Spider-like? Hmm. Devs led some public events. Yeah, that is a really cool idea. I do hope we get around to doing something like that. A straw dummy that is outside the barracks for testing under something. Make one that looks like a stuffed lion. Yes, that way all who want to can let out their frustrations at me on the the end game object. Sure. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks for joining us. It's been a good time. I just wanted to hang out a little longer and BS with people because I miss having time to do that. And it is wonderful to do that. I love this community. So, with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time. Make sure if you want to upgrade your packs, you do it soon. Make sure if you want to get packs, you do it soon because they're ending, and this is going to be like a new era. All right, y'all. Until next time. Deep strike!